Alright, so for today's video, we have what has kind of just become a very classic type of drama that we cover on this channel, and it's between a business and a TikToker. The business in question is this account right here, drippinspice, who makes like custom items. A few of the main things they make by the looks of it is like custom light switches, custom plates for like wall sockets by the looks of it, custom mirrors, and it has this like very specific style of this stuff for like on the outskirts, like almost like a border, right? And the TikToker involved in this situation is Paige's Purple Pinchers, who we're just going to call Paige throughout this because that's a bit of a tongue twister, and I will struggle. Now, Paige recently made a purchase from drippinspice, and she did an unboxing on the product. She got like a custom like plate for the wall adapter, I believe, and then she realized that the product maybe isn't up to standards, to say the least.
So here's a box.
Okay.
So I ordered this custom-made little like light socket.
Right, so it's a light socket, yeah. You see she's having a feel about. Clearly feels like there's something wrong here. She's like pressing against the clay, if you want. I don't know if it is clay, but she's pressing against whatever material is on the outskirts. And this is one thing, right? So you'll see in a second what happens with this product and kind of how fragile it is. Because there is this bit in the video where she's kind of like playing around with it and like pressing into it. Actually, in this original video, people were kind of like blaming her a bit, saying that she was pressing it too much. Which I do understand to a certain extent, because she is pressing it. She's thinking like, why is it so soft? But yeah, when we see what happens here, this shouldn't happen with a product.
I thought this was so cute, guys, but like, it's like...
Look, I mean, look, right. Clearly, she presses it, right? She goes to squeeze it. She's about to say, I think, like, this is really soft and not dried properly still. So even though she does technically press it, that breaks far too easily for me. I wouldn't be impressed with that either. In fact, let's actually go back and watch this, because this becomes like a big debate, right? In the back and forth between the company and the TikToker. And part of drippinspice's response is that, like, the TikToker was, like, pressing against it, and they broke it themselves. But look how easy it kind of does break. Yeah, I mean... that looks really soft. The whole thing just came off. I mean...
no way.
And here's the thing, right? You've got to bear in mind, the product is $12, right? So it's not the most expensive thing in the world. You're probably not expecting it to be, like, made out of diamonds by any means, right? But still, I believe that definitely broke very quickly and didn't need a lot of pressure to do so. So to me, it does look like maybe this hadn't fully dried before it was sent out. And just to give an idea of how fast these items get sent out, if you actually go on the website and you go to make an order, it says, please allow 72 hours to create and ship, which seems like a short amount of time to make something like this. I get it's not the most like complicated thing in the world to do, right? She's already got the plate made, probably buys them separately and then does the decorations around. But there is a lot of people saying that this just isn't enough time for this product to dry properly. Now, Paige then goes on to give her thoughts on the product.
This is so bad. That's so disappointing. Okay, I'm gonna have to get a refund for that. Never mind, I will not be tagging them down below because that is so unbelievably bad. So I will have to get a refund for that.
Now, as you just heard Paige say, she's going to try and get a refund for this. That ends up being a much harder task than you would probably imagine. But Paige does go on to end the video by showing how soft the material really is. Okay, she's like digging her finger in. You can see it's a pretty soft material. It looks like clay to me. I'm sure it's probably not just clay. It's probably a material that I am not too aware of. But yeah, it looks soft. Now, like I said earlier, interestingly, the comments are definitely on drippinspice's side, it seems like, in this original video. Which I'm saying it's interesting because if you go to any of the more recent videos, it's completely done a 180. It's completely flipped. But in this original video, there's people commenting stuff like, was literally picking at it. Yeah, it looks like where you kept pulling at it, you broke it, not them. It came in one piece. Let me hold your hand when I say this. From what I see here, it's your fault, not their fault. Well, yeah, when you poke and pull at it. And to be fair, like, look, it technically did come in one piece, and she did technically break it herself. But I think you have got to admit, right, it does look like it is pretty fragile. And it's a place you have to press against a wall and screw in. You're probably going to have to press it at some point, and for it to just break like that, I would also be pretty disappointed. Is it something I would go to TikTok about? No, because again, technically, it was me in this hypothetical situation who broke it myself. But yeah, I would be disappointed with how easy it broke. Now, after this original video was posted, this became this big situation where drippinspice and Paige having a back and forth with response videos and messages and whatnot. And it became a big situation. I mean, the original video, we can see it right here, is on 4.7 million views. The second video is on over 1 million views. There are multiple videos throughout this that are adding up to millions of views. So a lot of people are clearly invested in this situation. And I think a big reason why it became so big is because the situation wasn't dealt with straight away. Because in the second video, Paige goes on to explain that drippinspice are not taking accountability for this, and they are not offering a refund.
So I'm gonna show screenshots now because I've gone back and forth with her. She's not mean or anything, but like she's like not understanding that it's her fault that this product is falling apart, but she keeps blaming it on humidity. This is clay. I'm an artist myself too. I work with clay. This seems like it is air dry clay, and after it's dry, it's still moldable. This is not even dry. Like, I'll literally show you this piece again. Like, I am able to move and mold this like a clay slime. Like, I am able to squish this right now and play with it like a clay. Like, this is literal clay.
Yeah, I mean, look, that does look incredibly soft to me. I feel like you shouldn't be able to just press it down like clay, for example. I don't feel like it should be like this, is what I'm trying to say. But as you hear Paige saying, drippinspice is blaming it on humidity and transport. And throughout this whole situation, they basically blame USPS. And in fact, we actually have some messages here. So this is from drippinspice responding to the product being damaged or not dried or whatever you want to call it. And she says, "Hello, I'm so sorry to hear about your damaged item. I am happy to assist and walk you through the next steps in order to get your funds back. Unfortunately, since this is a USPS shipping and handling damage suit, you will have to file a claim with USPS.com. First, you have to go to, and there's a link, select the hamburger bar and click help and select file a claim. From where you will see send a screenshot from the Etsy listing and a description and a photo of the damaged goods. They'll mail you, so on, so on." Basically, she is saying you can get your refund through USPS. You can't get it through me. In a follow-up message, drippinspice goes on to say the contents were fully cured, but since it may have been a temperature issue with humidity while shipping, this will be a great case for your issue when you file a complaint. Now, Paige responds to this saying, "I'm touching it right now. It's wet movable clay like the foam clay you buy and play with at a store." To which drippinspice said, "Correct, maybe due to humidity during shipping handling. I'm located in Kentucky, so there is a lot of humidity while traveling. I'm so sorry to hear about your contents not being to mine and your standards. I definitely want to help you get your refund, but since I have gone through a lot of issues with USPS and try to file claims to get refunds, I've lost a lot of money due to the fact that they need the consumer with the broken item to so on, so on." So yeah, she's clearly blaming USPS. She's blaming humidity. To me, this seems a bit bizarre because, as she's saying here, she's had a lot of problems with stuff like this with USPS. In a response video that we'll look at in a second, she goes on to say that she's no longer offering refunds for damages because of this. And I just feel like if this is such a common issue that you've had to address it multiple times, maybe you're gonna have to figure out a way of actually selling these items, because you can't just be sending them out with USPS over and over again, knowing fine well that they could be damaged by the time they get there. And the rest of the conversation we see here is very similar to what we've just read. She goes on to say that she apologizes for the inconvenience and the damage to your item. She also mentions that she left this item to cure for 5 days when it normally takes 2, and she's sad to say another piece of her art has been damaged through USPS. So again, she is saying that this has happened multiple times now. And now this is actually the point that drippinspice uploads a response video herself talking about this situation, where she starts it off and mentions how one bad review can have this big negative effect on her business. She says that Paige actually pulled apart the product herself, and then goes on to show some previous good reviews that she's received from previous customers.
I want to talk about the dangers of one bad comment going viral to destroy a small business. In the video, it clearly shows it arrived in one piece and she pulled it apart on camera. If you go to my Etsy, I have 5-star reviews and raving compliments about my art, and I'm having one bad experience go public online right now, and it is sending a floodgate of hate to my small business.
And look, I do really feel sorry for her, because yes, it's a small business, but this situation has become so big, like so much bigger than the business. There's now millions of people that have seen this, and there's probably a lot of them that do have a negative opinion on this company now, unfortunately. That is a really shit situation. I just feel like it would have been so easily avoidable with a refund, right? And regardless of what your stance is, if you think she should offer the refund or you think that she shouldn't, because technically Paige pushed the item that looked pretty soft to me, either way, it would solve it if the refund was kind of made straight away. I don't think the situation would have went anywhere near as big. And at the end of the day, this seems to be an ongoing issue with products. I mean, drippinspice mentions it multiple times, mentions it again in this video that this has happened before and she's had to change her policy because of this and the terms of service or whatever. So because it is such a common issue, it kind of does need to be solved. I don't feel like you can be sending out items where it's basically a lottery if the product is going to be in the best shape or not, and if the humidity might damage it. There has to be a different way, maybe with packaging, or maybe shipping it in this way just isn't possible. Now, at this point in the video, drippinspice goes on to mention how the business started, but as she's saying this, there are pieces falling off the products in her hands.
When I started drippinspice 7 months ago, I took pride and joy in making and curating these.
Yeah, so we're probably gonna have to go back and show that again in case you missed it, but there's little like white bits falling off this white product that's in her hand. And then this happens again, but with a different product.
I create these pieces, I let them cure for 4 to 5 days. That's why I ship.
Okay, again, you can see a bit falls off the product. And these are the products that she's obviously holding for like to be the best example in the video. There's clearly something that's a bit of an issue here. Now, drippinspice goes on to explain that these items are durable and you can't just pull them apart easily, you've got to properly pull them. But she blames USPS for Paige's product.
When she received it, it was completely pulled apart and damaged. Now, these items are fully cured and do not fall apart unless absolutely pulled.
Which obviously, as we've seen already, isn't always the case. And yes, again, you can blame USPS for that, but that's the product that people receive. That's what's important. So that bit to me just doesn't seem to be true if this has happened multiple times and people have just been able to push their finger in and it's broke.
Once the item is out of my hands, USPS is the sole responsibility for any damaged goods. The solution for this customer was to submit a claim with USPS.com. Unfortunately, I cannot submit the claim since I do not have the damaged good or the label, and you have to bring it down to USPS and show them the broken item. My policy now states that you cannot get a refund for a broken item anymore. I took too many losses from USPS damaging my item.
Yeah, so as you just heard, just had to change the policy to no refunds for broken items, which probably isn't a great policy for customers. They probably wouldn't like to hear that. I don't feel like you should keep doing the thing that is going wrong constantly. That just doesn't seem like a good way to run your business, especially if you don't want these videos coming out, because if you keep doing this and people keep receiving broken items or items that aren't very durable and just break by you pushing your finger into it, there might be more videos that come out and then you're ruining your reputation more. There's got to be some type of fix to this. I don't feel like you can keep just sending it out the same way if this keeps happening.
And she decided to go online and destroy my image. This customer, I'm not sure if they did submit their claim through USPS.com, but I am getting a bunch of hate comments saying that I need to be bullied into giving a refund for an item, and it is destroying my small business that I have worked so hard to create. So please share this with somebody. It just it breaks my heart how this machine of the social media works and how quick people can be to jump on a hate train, especially when they've never experienced my pieces of art. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears go into making my items, and we need to be careful to jump on a hate train and completely disintegrate somebody's reputation because of one bad apple.
Yeah, look, like I said earlier, I do feel sorry for her, because at the end of the day, the products, I can see the appeal of them, right? Clearly she does put a lot of effort into it, especially like this mirror that she was holding up. I'm assuming she obviously made this like border around it. That's pretty impressive to me. That's actually really impressive to me. And I'm sure there's definitely the possibility that when she's making these items and she's finished it, it might seem really durable. But if that product is no longer durable and breaks really easily because of humidity maybe in transit, that's the item that people are receiving. That's the important bit. At that point, it kind of doesn't really matter what the item was like when you first made it, because the customer doesn't have it yet. I don't know what the best solution is. I don't know if it is just the packaging, or if it is this clay type material that she's using. Maybe it needs to be something different. But to me, it does seem like there needs to be a bit of a change with something if she doesn't want these videos and these reviews to go any further. Now, of course, as you can imagine, Paige responds to this video, and she first of all responds to the fact that drippinspice kind of called Paige a scammer in the caption of the video, and then also mentions the fact that there's things falling apart in her hands in drippinspice's video.
Saying that she's blaming me now for her product falling apart, which is a great look for your business, sweetie. Her title of her video is Customer Scamming. Girl, how am I scamming you? I haven't even gotten a refund. I have a product that is garbage. Like, girl, I made a review. I haven't scammed anybody their money. I'm letting people know that your products are bad. Like, they're falling apart. I literally have your video of pieces crumbling off of it. Like, you just dug a bigger hole for yourself. Like, literally, you could see crumbles falling out. That is exactly what happened to mine. I take it out, and pieces are crumbling off of it. So I'm like, so obviously I'm poking it, and apparently I ripped it apart. Actually, it was like squished, because I freaking go to show you guys. I was like, I don't really know how I feel about this, because it's kind of squishy, and then it literally just collapses. So apparently I ripped it apart, guys.
Paige then goes on to say that she didn't know the video was going to go viral. She just wants a refund, and then it says the product is actually like a hazard.
I'm running her livelihood with one bad viral video or whatever. Oh, I didn't know it was gonna go viral. Like, I'm glad it did, honestly. I'm sorry you're getting hate. Like, I never wanted you to get hate. I just wanted my refund, and I wanted people to know that this is what you do to your customers who aren't satisfied with your products. You don't want a refund, and I hope that they don't buy, because then they're gonna be out of money too, and you don't know how important that money is for them. Like, they could be a mother of kids, and like they're struggling to make ends meet, and they just wanted to get their daughter something or something like this. It's honestly also a hazard because the way that it was wet, people are saying it's like spackle or whatever, and the fact that I touched that and other people could be touching that too whenever it's wet, that's dangerous, girl. That's a health hazard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the specific health hazards are here, but obviously that is something that people are saying with the material that's being used. Paige then goes on to respond to the fact that drippinspice is saying that Paige just kind of like pulled it apart, and then also goes on to mention that it seems like, from what drippinspice is saying, this has happened multiple times.
And saying that it's not going to fall apart unless absolutely pulled. Oh my gosh, I must be Hulk or something, because literally I was just holding it like that and then it crumbles in on this side. I was not pulling it apart. Like, if I have to, unless it's absolutely pulled, like, girl, first of all, I was not pulling. And I'm not that strong. It obviously crumbled. Like, you're just lying at this point. And you literally said that you're not going to be taking refunds anymore for your shop and that you've taken too many losses. Girl, you just admitted that. You just admitted that this has happened before. And you're not going to get business whenever refunds are not an option. That's crazy. You're just admitting that your product is garbage and that once it's sent out, you don't want to deal with it anymore. Your business is not going to survive your right because of who you are and what you're doing. The fact that you said you took too many losses because of this, it looks even worse. And saying that you gave me a solution, that solution wasn't a solution, it was a lie. You were blaming USPS whenever the package was not damaged, the package was not wet, and I had multiple people from where you live commenting in my comment section saying it's cold, it's not even humid there. Like, you're lying and you're scamming USPS to pay for your products that were messed up.
Okay, I think it's fair to say Paige isn't exactly the biggest fan of drippinspice at the minute and doesn't like the response video that drippinspice uploaded. Now, in a follow-up video, Paige does go on to show that she did get a refund, and we see the screenshot right here. It's important to note that Paige actually got a refund through Etsy themselves and not through drippinspice. I mean, it literally says here, because the item arrived damaged, Paige's refund will be covered by Etsy because the order qualifies for Etsy's purchase protection program. And then the next paragraph's going to show that Paige is going to receive a refund in 2 to 5 business days, and then it also goes on to show that drippinspice's funds associated with this order have not been taken from their account. Etsy has decided to assist you both by covering the cost of this refund, which I've got to say is actually quite a cool thing. I've never seen that before. Maybe that is common on these type of websites. I've just never seen it before. Etsy is covering them both in this situation. I mean, obviously at the end of the day, for Etsy, it is such a small amount of money. It's $12, but I just didn't know that this was part of the program that they use. Then we get another follow-up video by Paige. It's a very quick one, where she's just kind of mentioning one point that someone mentioned in her comment section, I believe. And apparently, drippinspice has previously marketed their product to be used in bathrooms. Now, obviously, the fact that she's blaming humidity that can damage the product, that doesn't seem to make much sense.
This is marketed as a light switch, like, for a bathroom, too. And she's blaming humidity for, like, ruining this product, but she's marketing it for a bathroom? Make it make sense, because girl, your product was doomed from the beginning. That this whole time you've been blaming USPS for humidity. Girl, how is it gonna survive in a bathroom?
Now, I do think it's important to know that I can't find the specific place where it's been marketed to be used in a bathroom. I don't know if it's been deleted. I don't know if I'm just being stupid and I can't find it. Then after this, we got a new response from drippinspice. This time it was like a text statement that says, "Hi Paige, I come with kindness. This has gotten a bit out of hand and I'm a little disappointed this has had to reach TikTok in order to come to a conclusion. I'm going to refund you, but I would like to elaborate. You were misleading when you messaged me for support. You led me to believe the item came in pieces. My first response was, oh no, USPS did this since it happened before, meaning they broke my items in the mail. I offered you the solution of submitting a claim, not knowing that there can be easier ways through Etsy support since I'm still newer to this and don't want to continue taking a loss. This is my full-time income. Instead, you keep pressing me thinking it's my fault. I'm so glad you recorded the video." Okay, so the first part of the statement, she's obviously saying that she feels like she's being misled. Maybe, I guess maybe at the beginning, but if you do read through the messages, Paige does explain exactly what kind of happened. She shows like the pics and whatnot, and she constantly mentions how the mold is very, very soft, which is what the issue was. Maybe she wasn't too upfront with the fact that she had pressed it herself. Maybe that's what she's talking about here. Now, following on from the previous page, it ends by saying, "I'm so glad you recorded that video," and the second page starts off by saying, "because it proved me to be correct. The humidity from that tight conformed package could have been the reason it still had some tenderness to it. But you kept picking and smelling a pushing on its delicate cream. It did not come wet. It stood in one piece, full structure, pearls and shells and molding shape still holding. Of course, it's a custom piece. It's not indestructible. It's going to snap just like the description says it would, and clearly states, do not apply pressure, weight, or get wet. It felt entirely misleading the way you approached my," let's go to the next page, "small business and disregard my efforts to make things right. So you post a video on TikTok defaming and slandering a disabled female small business owner who relies solely on creations as income. You open the floodgate of hate and echo chamber replies to harass and bully me into a refund. Although I would have been more than happy to continue to assist you through these steps or replace the item. There is a lack of humanity and understanding in today's world. I'm so disappointed. This is what you and many other people resort to in order to get yourself heard. Destroying other people's hard work. My products aren't shit and they do not come wet. They are not made out of clay, but rather a very special material I formulated and created." Oh, okay, right, this is interesting. So the material being used was created by drippinspice. That's maybe a bit of an issue here. Because as she said multiple times, she is aware that this happens due to humidity and when the item's being transported and it can become really wet and really fragile. If this is something that you've created yourself, first of all, very impressive. But second of all, there's clearly some issues with it that do probably need to be addressed. Because again, this could just happen again and someone makes a video about it or a review or whatever else and you've got more people complaining. So it does feel like the best result for everybody here is that there is a change with this formula of whatever's being used. For your case, you don't get any more complaints or videos or whatever else. For the customer, they get a product they really like and isn't as fragile. Again, I do think the items are very impressive. Like I said before, the mirror looked really impressive to me. The fact that she created something like this seems really impressive to me. It just feels like there does need to be some changes rather than just solely thinking it's the customer's fault and that there isn't any accountability to take. I don't feel like that's the right approach. But on the other hand, I can see why she would be annoyed after seeing the video because it was like Paige pressing against it. Although to me, it seems like she pressed against it really soft and that shouldn't have happened. I can still see her point of view to an extent, right? She saw that the item did technically come in one piece, and then once pushed slightly, it broke. You attempted to disregard one woman's hard work, blood, sweat, and tears for one video on a TikTok where you complain about other products too. Thank you for the free publicity. I truly appreciate the support beautiful souls have been giving me. Have a wonderful day. You may hear from me in the future. Summer drippinspice. Now looking at the comments on this video, it seems like pretty much everyone is on Paige's side, and that's what I mentioned earlier with the comments doing like a 180. And I don't feel like that's because people change their opinions on the situation itself. I think people have saw the reaction and they didn't think it was the right reaction from drippinspice. I mean, we've got comments like, she was not misleading when messaging for support. She told her multiple times it wasn't a USPS issue. drippinspice knew about her video because she mentioned it in her response video. There's another comment saying, do not apply pressure to an outlet cover. Are we supposed to just pray it screws into the wall itself? We've got a lot of people quoting a part of the statement that says, you may hear from me in the future. About what, Lord? And I think a lot of people are assuming that she's talking about like legal action here. I mean, there's a comment saying, what is she going to sue? Like, please. I don't know if that's what she meant. Maybe she did. And there is quite a few other videos that have came out of this, but they kind of go away from the point of the situation in my eyes. Like, one, for example, was that people are claiming that drippinspice is using like fake accounts to comment on a video showing her support. Again, I feel like that's a bit unrelated to the situation. She's clearly under pressure with the public reaction. And maybe she has reacted a bit overly defensive with that now, and she got a bit overwhelmed with like the comments, decided to comment some stuff herself onto other accounts. I don't know, it might not even be true. But yeah, like I said, I do feel sorry for drippinspice because it is her business that's getting a lot of hate at the minute, and it's a shame that that's what's happened. I just feel like the situation could have been solved so easy if a refund was offered like straight away. And I think it's the response videos specifically that has caused this reaction. But either way, I would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below on everything that we spoke about in today's video. If you did enjoy, please do a like on it, subscribe if you are new, and until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.